Any lineup changes?
No, same lineup.
As you get into a situation like this, does a morning skate make a difference? It was pretty brief today, but I mean, there's a flow to the day, and I know
Yeah.
we have 9 o'clock start, so by the time you get to the game, you forgot the morning
Yeah,
skate.
I don't know. I don't know if there's a right answer for that. It's the same when you've got an extended period off. When do you practice? When don't you? You know, we rely on the leadership group a lot for that. Talked to them yesterday. They wanted to have a skate today. We didn't last game. You know, sometimes it's ritual. Sometimes just change things up. You know, sometimes there's no rhyme or reason to it. But I think you get to this point of the year, you're not winning or losing games on whether you pregame skate or not.
When you watched it back, is there anything that changed your mind on how game one went?
It's a good question. You know, I think when you watch it back, there's always, and that's why you watch it back. It's never either as good as you thought you were or as bad as you thought you were. So I think that was probably the case. You know, the areas I thought we were good at, we probably weren't as good at as I thought we were. The areas where I thought we were poor at, I don't think we were as poor at as I thought we were. So, you know, I think the bottom line of the game, and particularly this team in Vegas, for me, is you can't chase the game. You know, if you get behind, the way they defend, they don't take penalties. It's really hard to climb back into games, and I think we learned that last year in the playoffs. And unfortunately, you know, a minute in, you're down in that game. So that's something we've got to avoid.
Pete, now that you've had a chance to look at the video, how'd you feel about your power play in game one?
We went 0 for 2. You know, I mean, I'll be surprised if this is the special teams played a role last game. Obviously, I thought they had, 2 kind of seeing eye goals, a couple tips. You know, you hope that evens out and we get some of those going to the net. It wasn't like plays were made that exposed us. On the other end, you know, we didn't. You know, we fired some pucks to the net. We had some traffic there. We didn't. You hope that evens out. But, you know, they're not – neither team's going to take a lot of penalties in this series unless something dramatically shifts in a game or the emotions take over or something. You know, we're just not. So – you know, this series is going to be, I would think, decided 5-on-5 for the most part.
Pete, I'm curious, when you watch tape over Vegas over the last few weeks and you've seen what Logan Thompson has done in net, when you look at the confidence that he's exuded, do you kind of see any similarities in his game over the last month than compared to 22 when you had to put him in the lineup and try to get into the playoffs that year? Yeah,
it's a good question, Danny. I mean, what I remember about LT that year was one, he got to the NHL the right way. He went to the American League and dominated and did a great job there first. He earned the right to play. It wasn't just handed to him because of an injury or because of a situation. And when he came in, he had some swagger to him. He wasn't overwhelmed by the moment. We had a lot of stuff going on at that time. I'm trying to, there was, it's like a flashback that I don't want to go there. But, he was one of the bright spots at that moment, particularly with what we were dealing with at that position at the time. And, I thought he really gave us some life. He gave us some energy, had some good swagger to him. I probably should have played him more.